Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the new season, episode 2 of the new year. And I hope your year is off to a great start so far. Mine definitely is. I'm feeling the energy, feeling good, and I love it. Just a reminder, my up level workshops, this is my 2025 goal setting manifestation workshop. It's still available to purchase as a replay. We held it on the 30th of December. So I still feel like it's a really good time to watch it back and make sure you're super clear on your goals for the new year so that you can manifest them more easily. It went for almost 2 hours, had amazing feedback from that. So for £33, you can use it this year, you can use it into the future. It really is a great investment. So message me if you are interested, but today's episode is going to be a 2025 ins and outs. I did this last year for an episode, and I also shared a post on social media, just a graphic, but I didn't explain each one in detail, so I felt like I needed to do that on the podcast episode, go a little bit deeper into each point and why it is on the in or out list for 2025. So getting right into it, my ins for the new year. Number one is morning routine. If you're still not having a morning routine, I don't know what to say. You are missing out on so much goodness. It has been life-changing for me. Ideally, we should have a morning and evening routine, but I'm going to let you off a little bit. If you don't want to do both, or if it's too much right now to do both, please just start with the morning routine. It really sets the tone for the day, and all you need is literally 5 minutes. Start as small as you need to, just do something. This is the key time of the day that our subconscious is open to change. It's more receptive if you're trying to do your manifestations and your affirmations in the middle of the afternoon, or you're trying to get into a relaxed state, but you set your day off on a stressful note, it's not going to be as effective. So mine changes daily. It's not that I follow the same plan, this rigid routine every day. It can honestly change based on how much time I have. Do I have a client in the morning? Have I had a bad night's sleep? Where am I in my menstrual cycle? Do I want a little extra 30-minute line in the morning? I do listen to that, but I at least make sure I do something. Usually for me, it's between 10 and 30 minutes. That's my sweet spot. And I can really feel the difference on the days that I just roll out of bed and go on my phone, which I actually don't do anymore, but I would feel a massive difference. Or if I was just to start replying to client emails, just going having my breakfast, watching YouTube videos, anything like that. It's just not the same. It's not as special. This is my sacred time in the morning when the world is still and quiet. And I stay in my bedroom. I have this little sanctuary that I build out. I put my red light mask on, try to do that at least 4 to 5 days a week. So I have my Bon Charge LED mask, which I love, and my skin is thriving as a result of that, I swear. And then I switch between a few things. So on my list of things to choose from, I might do some journaling, I might do some gratitude and meditation, I might do some EFT tapping, I might do some journaling, affirmations, whatever. I have a selection of things, and based on how I'm feeling, I'll choose that, or I do a little habit stack and I do 5 minutes of each. And after that, after I've centered my morning around myself, I fill up my cup. I have a much better energy, and I have a much better tolerance for things during the day. If stressful situations happen, I'm much more grounded and able to respond in a way that I would like. So try it out, make the most of this brainwave state that you're in when you're coming out of the sleepy state and you're semi-conscious. Your brainwaves are in the theta state, and this means that your conscious mind still isn't 100% switched on. So program in what you're wanting to create for your life. Visualize how your dream day could go. Instead of waking up and worrying all the things that could go wrong, what are all the things that could go right? How amazing could the day get? What good things could happen? What have you got to be excited or grateful for that day? Can you, instead of focusing on all of the symptoms that you have and how horrible you're going to feel or how bad your skin's going to be when you look in the mirror, what part of your body feels good? What can you be grateful for? The fact that you've opened your eyes and you have another day on earth, that is something to be grateful for. So focus on what you want to program in, your new beliefs, and it's going to be way more effective at that time of day. Number 2 is dressing as your future self. For me, I had a big clear out, a big purge last year when I moved. Was it 2020, 2023 when I moved? And I need to do this on a regular basis because I'm always changing and I'm always transforming, and my wardrobe needs to match that as well. So I got rid of old clothes that I no longer wear. If it's been longer than 6 to 12 months and I've not worn it, it's gone. Any socks that have holes in them, any nice outfits that I have and I never wear them, I'm going to start wearing them again. Another non-negotiable moving forward for me is a haircut every 8 weeks. Last time I got it cut a few weeks ago, but it had been about 8 months since the last one, so it's just ridiculous, and it stops your hair growing nice and healthy. If you can get the split ends off the bottom, it makes it healthier to grow. I oil it. I really take care of my hair because I feel like it makes a big difference, and having struggled with hair loss multiple times in my health history, I really want to protect it at all costs. Other things that you can do are affirmations when you're looking in the mirror and you're getting ready in the morning, you're doing your skincare. You can go on Pinterest and find some inspiration of what you want to start dressing like. And please don't be stupid and wasteful about it. Don't just buy a ton of fast fashion and throw away all of your good things. Donate it, sell it, throw it on Vinted if you need to, and slowly start to purchase these higher quality, timeless capsule wardrobe pieces. Instead of following trends and fast fashion, try to choose products that you know you're gonna love for the foreseeable. And when you spend money on high quality products, you can really tell, it can really make a big difference. So yeah, don't be wasteful. Do it slowly if you have to, but wear the things that you bought and you never wear because you're waiting for the special occasion. Every day is a special occasion. It's like when you buy, I had a lovely organic body scrub and I would never used it, and then the next time I looked at it, it was out of date. So what's the point in that? I do it with food as well. I'll go to a health food shop, I'll buy an amazing quality chocolate and truffles, and I never eat them, and then they just go out of date. So it's so wasteful, and I need to stop doing that. It's so much easier to show up as your future self when you're dressed in a way that reflects that. And I don't know about you, but I'm way more productive in the day when I actually get dressed, put on a bit of makeup rather than lounging around in my pajamas or my tracksuit all day long. People do judge on appearances, unfortunately, but it's just a fact. So I heard a rule on TikTok, I don't know who started this, but try to make sure you have at least 2/3 of the following looking good. So we have your outfit, your hair, and your makeup. If 2 out of 3 of those things are good, that's fine. So if you've got nice skin or nice makeup and a nice outfit, but your hair's a bit of a mess, that's not as bad as all 3 being a mess or just having a nice outfit on. So try to make more of an effort. You never know who you're going to meet, and find what looks good on you. So ask people, do a bit of research, go on Pinterest. Probably my favorite platform at the moment. I've just updated my vision board for 2025, and yeah, it's just got me super excited. But yeah, dress as your future self is my number 2 point. Number 3 is using manifestation to heal. And this is another one. If you're not already doing this, you are missing out. It's not just sitting around wishing for good things to happen, wishing for your soulmate to show up at your front door or for your health to transform just by writing it down in your journal 53 times. It's really a co-creation process with the universe. So it's important to get clear on what we do want, but then understanding that there's this higher force working alongside of you. So we have to still eat healthy, we still have to go on dates and put ourselves out there, but we can have the two combine, the law of attraction and the law of action. So me incorporating this into my life over the past few years, I feel like I was really into it at the start of my journey, personal development and mindset and all of these spiritual things. And then I lost it for a long while and was very focused on the physical, nutrition and lab tests and supplements. And then I came back around and got really deep into this the past few years. I did further training on the subconscious mind, and it really makes sense on a a biological level, a scientific level, why this happens too. When your brain has a clear direction, when it has a goal and it's focused, that's so much easier to achieve than if you are just doing things and you actually don't know where you want to end up. If you're trying to heal, what are you actually trying to heal for? And what does healing mean to you? It's a bit of a vague word. Is it that you want to heal your toenail? Is it what do you want to feel 5% better, or you want to be able to go to the gym 3 times a week for an hour, feel good afterwards, feel energized and strong? You want to be at a certain body weight, or you want to have clear skin, you want to feel energized enough on the weekends to go out with friends. That is way more specific than I want to heal, or we want to not focus on the negative, so I don't want to have back pain anymore. Avoid using the negations because the mind, the energy, the universe doesn't hear don't, and it will just send you more of that. So we want to continue with the law of action, but also believe that there is a higher power. Some people it's God, some people it's angels, universe. I prefer to say universe. Believe that there's something higher out there, and that actually takes a lot of stress off the body, at least for me anyway. And if you don't believe in it, I honestly don't care because it has changed my life. It's real to me and it's too good not to take advantage of. So using manifestation to heal, you're going to hear me talk more about this on this channel, on my social media, because it's my current obsession and I want to share all of the amazingness that it's brought into my world. In number 4 for 2025 is meditation on a similar line. I'm really in my spiritual era at the moment. Currently obsessed with Joe Dispenza and his stuff again. I was deleting a ton of things from my phone earlier this year and found little clips from him from years and years ago, and it's just really cool that I'm into his stuff again. Especially his books, Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself, You Are the Placebo, Superhuman. And then his series, I didn't even know he had a series on Gaia, which is the spiritual Netflix online. He has a series called Rewired, which is the best bits of his books just in a series with some really good graphics and just makes it really easy to consume and understand. I binge watched the free trial of this at Christmas break and my mind was blown. I was up till like 10 o'clock watching it and making notes and just felt like a mad scientist. And I had a huge manifestation personally come to fruition recently over the new year as well, which I will share more about soon. But oh my god, it's crazy, so good. Everyone I've told so far was like, what the hell? Insane. So stay tuned for that one. Number 5 in for 2025 is feminine energy. This was on last year's list as well, I'm pretty sure, but it took me the majority of 2024 to actually implement it, surrender, and allow this in because it's been such a huge struggle in my life. I have lived predominantly in my masculine energy for the majority of time, and I definitely felt a shift at the end of last year around the time of turning 30, and then even more so in the final few months of 2024. And this is on the list because I want to keep it going for myself and now just see it as a way of living. The masculine energy is important. There's going to be periods of time that we need to be in there. In my work, I am still in my masculine energy with organizing things and planning things and doing finances. But I needed to incorporate more of the feminine energy into my world because it was not having a good effect on my physical or mental health. I did a whole episode on the two and the balance between feminine and masculine energy a few weeks ago now, just before Christmas, so catch up on that if you haven't already. But my dominant state should be feminine, and it's very supportive to my health and my nervous system when I do that. So you want to listen to that episode to figure out what it is that I'm doing to be more in my feminine. Next is EFT tapping, absolute in for 2025, game changer. Been doing this on and off for years, but since I did my training in EFT, hypnosis, and subconscious reprogramming in 2023 with Yes Supply, I've pretty much used it daily and will not stop anytime soon. In the New Year's workshop that I mentioned, Up Level, we actually ended with a few minutes of tapping, and I just felt like that integrated everything that we'd covered on the call, and everyone left on a high note. So if you're not familiar, EFT tapping is emotional freedom technique. And this is working on the acupressure meridians of the body. So in Chinese medicine, we have these energy currencies of the body, these like pathways, and they can get blocked and disturbed for a number of different reasons, like stress, trauma, poor health issues. And when you have acupuncture, they put needles into these different points, and it can help to unblock and regain energy in those systems. So we can use tapping, we can tap on those meridian points as well, like the top of the head, the eyebrow, temple area, and it helps to neutralize any lower vibration emotions that we're feeling, like anxiety, frustration, and it can calm the nervous system. It can release nice feel-good chemicals like dopamine and serotonin. It can help to regulate the adrenal glands, work on old pathways, limiting beliefs, install new beliefs. It is really magical. And I would say it's working on a somatic physical level, but also a brain neuroplasticity level. So I use it a lot with clients, and it will be featured a lot more in my world in 2025. So get excited about that. It can be used for anything and everything. Manifesting money, working on your self-love, clearing headaches, all sorts of things. Next, I've run out of what number we're on. So next is authenticity. I think this is the highest vibration. I'll have to double check. That and gratitude and love are right up at the top. And then things like shame and fear and guilt are right at the bottom of the frequency scale. But when you're authentic to yourself, it allows others to be authentic in themselves too. I really feel like this is pure confidence, and when you show your true self and don't hold back, it allows you to find your tribe, the people who are meant for you. Not everyone is going to like you, that's okay. It's something that I've really had to come to terms with and accept as a former people pleaser, but it's meant when I am more authentic that I can actually attract more aligned people in all areas, relationships, friendships, clients. So I just feel like with getting older as well, once you hit 30, I've really heard you don't care as much what other people think, and you can really start to understand yourself, what you like, what you don't like. 20s are really about figuring out all of this stuff, and then 30s is about living it. So you probably notice a shift in myself, and even this podcast change, just sharing more what was on my heart rather than what I think that I should do or what other people might like. And if it doesn't resonate, all of these new changes, that's fine. But I am going to be authentic to myself because it is so important. I just want to check, are you addressing the healing foundations? Not sure what I mean. Well, these are the important factors that I believe that you need to address in order to be in optimal health and overcome your stubborn health issues and symptoms, whether that's chronic digestive issues, acne, hair loss, period problems, weight gain, anxiety, fatigue. I could go on. Because I want as many of you as possible to have this life-changing information, I've bundled together 6 of my juiciest and info-packed masterclasses priced at just £111. Not only are you getting these recordings, which are between 60 and 90 minutes long each, on the following subjects: the power of the subconscious mind, stress, trauma, and the nervous system, supporting your female menstrual cycle, mastering your metabolism, optimizing sleep, gut health and detox. You're also going to receive my healthy groceries shopping list and my favorite non-toxic products guide, which are both usually reserved for my one-to-one clients. Whether you're brand new to the holistic healing world or you've been trying to work on things for a while but feel stuck, I can guarantee there's something within this content that will help you to understand your next steps and what you're missing. Sometimes it's something so foundational that's being overlooked. Get instant access to the Foundations bundle today for just £111 by clicking the link in the episode show notes, and I can't wait to hear about what you've learned. Grab your pen and paper to make notes and get started today. Final 2, seasonal eating is in. Not only do we get a higher amount of nutrients because the food hasn't been picked 3 weeks ago, transported halfway across the world, sat in a supermarket for a week before it gets onto our plate. And with each minute that goes by, it loses nutrients, but it's better for the planet as well. And it doesn't make sense for me in England in the middle of winter to be eating bananas that are from whatever country halfway across the world. In winter that we're currently in countries like England, we want to be eating more warmer cooked foods, root vegetables, meat, less fruit, more herbal teas, because fruit wouldn't have really been growing. Things like apples, perhaps. You might want to do some stewed apples, or if you've had frozen fruit, and you can do like a nice crumble or something. But we should be eating based on our ancestry somewhat, but I think it's more important where you're living at the moment. And there's certain times, and we'll come on to this in the oats because a similar point is going to come up. There's certain times in your menstrual cycle that it's more important to eat warming cooked foods, even if it's in the middle of summer. But yeah, stay tuned for that one. And then last on the list, ties into it as well, is a savory breakfast. For years, I had my protein smoothie. If you're a client or you follow me online, you've probably heard me talk about this protein smoothie. It had protein powder in, and it was a pulsing pea protein. It had raw milk, it had cinnamon, ginger, cucumber, blueberries, and it was really low sugar, high protein, and high healthy fats. But I still think that sweet taste in the morning wasn't great for my body on reflection. It can leave you, I don't really struggle with cravings, but for some people, it can lead you to crave more carbs and sugar for the rest of the day. Or it can put you on a bit of an insulin resistant note for the rest of the day, which was more of my struggle. No, I've had breakfast soup for the past few months, and it does take a bit more prep work, but it really has been worth it. And this pulls from the seasonal eating as well because it's a good two-in-one. And who knows, I might swap back to my protein shake in summer, but for now, it's the highlight of my morning. I have my soup, and then I also have my matcha latte made with raw milk, a bit of cinnamon. I put my collagen powder, my new favorite supplement, creatine, which I might talk a little bit more about soon because it is the most studied supplement out there, but I have only just tried it and it's now my favorite thing. So yeah, maybe let me talk more about creatine and its benefits. I've also done experiments. I've currently got a CGM glucose monitor in. I was sent it from a new company called Lingo in the UK, and I've seen a difference when I have my matcha and I have a little protein bar. It's the Pulsing Protein Booster, the vanilla and chocolate chip one. When I have that first and then the soup, my blood sugar is higher than if I have the soup first and then the matcha latte second. And it could literally be minutes apart, but I've done it time and time again, and it's a definite fact that my blood sugar is more stable when I have the savory chicken soup first. And the recipe changes a little bit every time, so I don't have a set recipe that I can share with you, unfortunately. I cook it all in my Instant Pot, which I've had since, I think, 2017. I look back at my Amazon orders, and it's a little bit worse for wear. The top of it got melted at some point, so it doesn't look very pretty, but it still works fine. And it's a pressure cooker. It's a multi-system appliance, so it's a pressure cooker, steamer, slow cooker, all sorts of different things. Some of them even have yogurt makers on there. I've got the bit of the older model now. One of the new ones is what they called air fryer. If I was to get one again, I would absolutely get that one because I'm looking for an air fryer. So I use that to cook the soup in, and I batch cook it. So I do about 5 to 7 days worth and store it in the freezer. And this is just to support my histamine levels, with that being something that I've worked on in the past. I just try to cook from scratch as much as possible because it reduces the histamine load rather than keeping it in the fridge. So I fry off the chicken first, add the veg, could be something like carrots, celery, onions, garlic, and then a bit of cabbage, some sort of beans, butter beans or chickpeas are the two that I typically go for, chicken stock, and then some herbs, fresh or dried herbs. Over Christmas, I had a lot of rosemary and thyme, so I use those. But I can just mix it up and try a different one each time. But the base is the chicken soup, and I love it. So we are now on to the outs of 2025. Some of these are the opposites to the ins, as you would expect, but I just wanted to share a little bit more in depth on each one. So, number one is hustle culture. It's just a no with a masculine energy. We are done with that now. A lot of people over COVID and lockdowns just came online and just created these huge empires and businesses, and people were just excited to get back into work again. And now I feel like people have realized and started to slow down. They want to do more community things. That was going to be on the list, actually. I do want to add that to the in. It's more in person and community. And I'm actually in the process of organizing my second in person workshop. It's going to be in April or May time. 2025 in Manchester. So if you missed out on the first one or you want to come again, stay tuned for that. But hustle culture, there's going to be seasons of your life or in work that you've got more going on. Maybe you're working a lot, and that's not to shame you, but it's the energy that you're showing up in that's the problem. If you're focused on the numbers, the business growth, even in your workouts, you're grinding every single day, you're ignoring your body's hormonal fluctuations or symptoms or feedback, and you're just trying to stick to this rigid plan no matter what, I think that is the problem, and you're eventually going to burn out. It's about it's about being happy where you are, being more in the present, and just slowing down a little bit as well. I used to live inside my head, and it's so easy then to fall into the trap of comparison. What's next? What's the next milestone in my life or business? Just not being at peace with where you're at. And it's so sad. A guy that I used to work with a few years ago in my retail job, he died just before Christmas. He was in his mid-20s. He had a disability, but he was always so happy, cheerful, and just the kindest person ever. And he really always appreciated the small things. He was always asking how everyone was doing. He loved little Norman, and it just put things into perspective for me. We don't know how long we get in this world. So let's enjoy it, let's slow down, let's savor the present moment a little bit more. Second on the outs list is comparison, and social media is a big mention here. It is the highlight reel. I work with a lot of influencers who you might recognize and health practitioners who are on the outside appearing to be thriving, living the dream life, but behind closed doors, they're really struggling with their health, their mindset, and you just wouldn't suspect a thing based on their page. And they're helping other people with their lives too. Maybe it's someone from school who you keep following, you're following their life and you feel jealous because it looks perfect to you, but you have no idea what they're dealing with. If you're struggling with your health and you're comparing your journey to someone else's because they healed in 3 months and it's taking you 3 years, you need to remember that everyone is unique, and please trust everything is happening in divine timing and for your greater good. If I would have healed myself in a few months when my health issues started, even a year or two in, I would be a very different person than I am now. And I actually don't think I would be a great practitioner. I needed to learn more. I needed to deepen my skills. I needed to understand myself further. In hindsight, it worked out perfectly. In the moment, I was so desperate to heal. And even though my life between age 20 and 25 was pretty rough, pretty challenging, and I didn't achieve much, I then managed to quantum leap and achieve everything that I wanted between age 25 to 30. So don't put pressure on yourself with these timelines because it just adds more stress. Just try to embrace where you're at and just take it day by day. And you will heal eventually if you believe that you can and you keep putting one step in front of the other. But don't waste your life away wishing for everything to end because you're missing out on precious life. Which one are we on? Number three, out for 2025, horror movies. Listen, I love a good horror movie. I love thrillers. I started watching them as a child even because my mum loves horror and that whole genre. But to be fair, she loves things like Dracula and ghosts and Frankenstein rather than slashers and things like Smile and all of those really creepy modern day thrillers. So I don't feel like it is as bad, but I just find myself naturally moving away from that type of content. The last movie that I watched in the cinema was Speak No Evil, and that's got James McAvoy in it. I absolutely loved it, and I recommended it to all of my friends, and I spent the entire film in an adrenaline rush. And yes, it feels good, and it was kind of fun, but I could not stop thinking about that film for weeks afterwards. Not even in a scared way, just like it was on my mind constantly. And it's when the storylines are very realistic, that's the problem when it could potentially happen to you. And I'll not give the storyline of the movie away. I won't give any spoilers, but you're like, that could happen, and I'm actually like scared of people after watching that. We go into a hypnotic state when we're watching movies and when we're really immersed in the experience and when we're scrolling on our phone. So it's like we're in it personally. And I don't even watch too many movies or TV these days. I prefer to read or watch YouTube, in all honesty. But if I do watch a film, I'm going to choose something more chill, something that I have watched before, something that's a rom-com or just something really chill. My boyfriend Luke laughs at me because my favorite genre of film is homely. So it could technically be a thriller or horror. Something like Misery is a classic example. I love that movie, and it just means that they're in the same space and environment the entire film, or they're inside or in a home environment. I know it's weird, but this is how my brain works. Another example is Mrs. Doubtfire, very different film, but I hope you understand what I mean by the homely genre. But yeah, horror movies are out for me in 2025. Next, number 4 is doom scrolling. I just come to the realization, don't know if it's an age thing again or just being over being on my phone, social media. It is such a time waster. There is so much junk media on there, and I do not care anymore what is going on in Hollywood. They're just all corrupt. I don't want to waste my life thinking about and worrying about or being immersed in other people's lives and gossip. Social media is so addictive. They know what they're doing with the colours, the strobing lights, the hypnotic messages, and I don't want to fall victim to that anymore. I had a good clear out of my phone, not just my wardrobe, pictures, unused apps, who I'm following, and I only want to follow people now that genuinely inspire me. And I've unfollowed or muted the rest. I used to scroll first thing in the morning and before bed too, which I know a lot of you guys will probably be doing as well, but I've stopped that and genuinely don't want to do that anymore. Reading gives me such a better quality of sleep, and I don't want to start or end my day in other people's worlds. I'll do my gratitude, my visualization, EFT tapping as to what I want more of in my life. You'll find that you'll have so much more time as well to do the things that you've been procrastinating on or say that you don't have time for when you just get off your phone. So that has made the list. Where are we on now? Number 5. Icy drinks in winter. So this is similar to the seasonal eating one. This is a general no-no in Chinese medicine terms. You will still see me ordering an iced Americano with a dash of milk when the weather warms up here in England, because I do love them. And I don't always fancy a hot drink, but especially in winter, you should avoid them if you live in a cold climate. It depletes your digestive fire. It can be more work for your body and your digestive system then. And especially in your menstrual phase, you're on your period, this is your inner winter. So we want to try and replicate that as well by having more cooked, warm foods, more warm drinks, something like ginger tea or a red raspberry leaf tea too. So just be mindful of the temperature of water you're drinking. My friend even messaged me the other day. She's like, why am I getting so bloated? She's increased her water intake. And I said, are you drinking cold drinks? She's like, yeah. And also try to avoid it around your meal times because that'll help with your digestion too. Next is intermittent fasting. And this was probably on last year's list, and I'm like curious, are people actually still doing this? I feel like I've been saying for years that it's not good news for women, but still get questions quite commonly. So as a general overview, intermittent fasting is more beneficial for men and post-menopausal women. If your body is strong and resilient and you want to incorporate a little bit, or it just works out with your lifestyle to do a little bit of intermittent fasting, then the max that I'd recommend aiming for is 16 hours. So this means if you finish your evening meal at 6 p.m., you would then have your breakfast and break your fast at 10 a.m. the next day. So maximum 16 hours, and only in the follicular and ovulation phase of your cycle. The first half of your menstrual cycle, avoid this in the luteal and the lead up to your period and on your period, because the body is more sensitive to stress and any signs of famine. So even if it's you choosing to not eat breakfast or have it later, your body goes into a survival state. And definitely no fasted workouts or caffeine on an empty stomach on those mornings that you are pushing your breakfast back. You might get a short-term boost of energy, maybe you do feel less bloated, but it's not the food that's the problem, it's your body. So generally, no, unless you are absolutely thriving and want to try it out. But I feel like there's benefits in just meal spacing and going down to 3 meals a day with no snacks. Try that first instead of going to this more of an extreme. Last few on the list of outs now, living like small men. Someone asked me to clarify what I meant by this on Instagram, hence why we're doing this podcast episode, because I want you to understand why I'm recommending these things, and there's just too much to type on a post. So what I meant here is that we are different than men. Men are on a 24-hour daily cycle. Women are on a 28-ish day monthly cycle. We're different day to day, and especially week to week. Men can follow the exact same routine every single day and thrive. They can wake up at the same time, have the breakfast, train in the same way at the gym, go about their work day, and just do that on repeat every single day. Women, you probably had the experience of going to a gym class one week, smashing it, front of the class, and yeah, doing really well. And then the next week you can't keep up and you feel like you're the slowest and a 60-year-old woman is overtaking you. And that's because of our hormonal fluctuations. So we should try to embrace that more, connect to our feminine cycles and work with our hormones rather than work against them. So if you're trying to push through with your work and do the same amount of output every single day, you're probably not going to be as successful as if you go a bit harder in the first half of your cycle when your energy levels are higher, the follicular phase after your period ends, into ovulation, hormone levels are more robust. And then as you approach your period, and your body doesn't know at that point if it's pregnant. So this is where the increased sensitivity to stress comes in. We can still do things, we can still go about our day. We don't have to lay in a field and rest for those 2 weeks, but actually being a bit more introspective and reflective on the month and slowing down, maybe focusing on different tasks, doing more logical things rather than public speaking, meetings, presentations. If you do have control of that, obviously, is going to work a lot better, and you'll probably find that you do better quality work in a short amount of time working with your hormones. So I have plenty of other episodes and education on this on my page if you're interested. Next is suppressing your emotions. It is undeniable that unexpressed emotions can cause dis-ease in the body. The book, The Body Keeps the Score, goes into all of the science, and it's just undeniable in this day and age. This is partly how EFT works, the tapping that I mentioned, but then there are other tools like breath work, somatic exercises. I've had someone on the podcast months ago now talking about TRE, tension and trauma release exercises. So there's loads of different therapies available, and this is often really effective to those who have tried talk therapy and don't seem to be able to clear the trauma or feel like they can release that from the body, because understanding it on a logical level is very different to actually getting those emotions that are stuck out of the system. Some examples are grief, the emotion of grief and how that can affect the lungs. Fear can affect the kidneys, and anger can affect the liver. There's tons of other examples of those, but those are some really common ones. Some people need to get their body, though, to a decent level of health before it's ready for them to release the emotions. They might feel resistant to this work or an emotional block. They might not know what they need to work on. And they might need to start more with the physical healing, working on their gut health, being able to physically detox better in order to emotionally detox better. But then there's other people who actually need to do some of this work first. They need to actually process some emotion or distance themselves from a relationship before they're actually able to tolerate health protocols or stick to an exercise or nutrition plan. So maybe investigate this for yourself and look into some of the resources that I mentioned in this section. And last but not least, alcohol, for me at least, is out in 2025. More people are choosing not to drink, and I'm one of them, and they're starting to see the effects that it can have on the individual, but also the population. I used to feel weird about it, and now I don't at all. People who judge, shame, or question you excessively usually have their own stuff going on with alcohol, poor relationship to alcohol. They probably won't be able to feel comfortable or confident not drinking on a night out. So it's a them problem, not a you problem. There's no denying the negative health effects of alcohol on the body, to the gut health, can cause liver stress, hormone disruptor. It is literally poison to the body. And most places now offer alcohol-free options. I don't think in 2024 I drank at all. And I'm not even saying that I'll never drink alcohol again. It's just that it's so celebrated and pushed in our culture. Media is promoting it as well when it is a drug, and it can be detrimental to so many people's lives. And that's the problem that I have. So I don't want to waste any days personally feeling hungover, embarrassed at what I might have said to someone, drunk, dealing with the aftermath of skin breakouts and anxiety. It's just not worth it to me. Now that I'm in great health, I have worked so hard to get here, and I respect my body enough not to intentionally stress or inflame it when possible through alcohol. And also, with my history of histamine issues, a lot of forms of alcohol just caused me to react very strongly in the past. So that just made it easier for me to want to avoid it. So I hope you enjoyed that. Let me know on social media which of these are on your list, or if you've got any ins or outs that I missed out on. And thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode. I really hope you're loving this rebrand over here on the podcast. It definitely feels more aligned. Going to Viva Natural Health from Hormones in Harmony, which was that name since 2019. Crazy. It's a new era, a new year, and we're here for it. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I shall see you next week.